Greetings, my name is Amrey Ashraf. I'm an OUM student from Petaling Jaya Learning Center. Today, I would like to give a speech about a glance at the Malaysian education system. Children in Malaysia begin their education as early as at the age of 4 at preschools, although this is not compulsory. Primary education starts when the child reaches the age of 6 on the first day of January of the current school year. Initially, only the 6 years of primary education is compulsory, while the 5 years of secondary education comes later at 2015. The government provides free education for 6 years at primary level and 5 years at secondary level. At the end of the secondary education, students sit for the Public Common Examination known as Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM). Students who want to pursue higher education after the secondary level need to have the required academic grades and be able to fund their education. School leavers with SPM qualification can opt to obtain a pre-university qualification such as the sixth form, matriculation programs, and GCE A levels, or study for a certificate or diploma at higher educational institutions. The time needed to complete a pre-university program depends on the type of program. Students usually take a year to complete a matriculation program or STAM and 1.5 to 2 years for STPM and A levels. At higher education phase, study opportunities include certificate, diploma, undergraduate, as well as postgraduate studies. Undergraduate studies consist of bachelor degrees and professional qualifications, while postgraduate studies offer master degrees and PhDs. Generally, higher education at diploma level is for school leavers with a secondary school certificate such as SPM. Usually, the students are 17 and onwards, while bachelor degrees require post-secondary qualifications such as STPM or GCE A levels or other equivalent pre-university qualifications. Usually, the students are 19 and onwards. Malaysia welcomes international students for all levels of education. Since the mid-1990s, international students have been coming to Malaysia to pursue their tertiary education at Malaysia's higher educational institutions. Today, Malaysia is ranked the 11th most popular destination in the world for international education at tertiary level. Similar to many developed countries in the world, Malaysia adopts a system of 6 plus 5 plus 2 years of formal education. Here is the details of the various levels of the national education system. There are 5 levels of education. Number 1 is kindergarten or preschool for children at the age of 4 to 6 years old. Number 2 is primary education for students at the age of 7 to 12 years old. Number 3 is secondary education for students at the age of 13 to 17 years old. Number 4 is pre-university education. And last but not least, higher level education. Kindergarten education. Kindergarten education is non-compulsory education. If the parents can afford to pay the fees, it is advisable to send their children there. In kindergarten, children have the opportunity to learn at a very young age. With the opportunity they get, it is very helpful in shaping and developing the way of thinking of the child. This gives a lot of benefits to the child when stepping into the realm of primary school. Primary school education. Primary school education is a compulsory education. Learning content mostly teach students about the basic things that everyone needs, as an example of counting, reading, and so on. There is a compulsory test in primary school education, namely the Primary School Assessment Test or UPSR. The test aims to determine which school is suitable for the student when moving to the secondary education level. Secondary education. Secondary school education is compulsory education in Malaysia. There are two levels in secondary education, which is lower secondary and upper secondary. The lower secondary includes Form 1 to Form 3 students and is accompanied by the school-based assessment (PBS) examination, while the upper secondary includes Form 4 to Form 5 students with the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) examination. PBS is required to determine which stream is suitable for students when ascending to Form 4. Upon entering Form 4, the students have the opportunity to make a choice whether to continue learning through academic, technical, vocational, and religious school. SPM is required to determine which course of study is appropriate when applying for higher education. Pre-university education. Pre-university education is optional education. This is because the education is based on SPM results as well as the students' ability to further their studies to this level. Students have the opportunity to choose whether to proceed to STPM, matriculation, STAM, or A level. Pre-university education rings well with the nickname of shortcut to bachelor's degree. This is because pre-university subjects are mostly compressed bachelor's degrees subjects and needs to be completed within 1 to 1.5 years. Higher level education. Higher level education is not compulsory education. This is because higher education requires stable finances to finance the fees. Also, not everyone is able to pursue higher education given the increasingly difficult subject of their learning. Higher education consists of undergraduate and postgraduate. Undergraduate consists of bachelor's degree and diploma, while postgraduate consists of master degree and PhD level. For postgraduate studies, such studies are only available when the student has a bachelor's degrees. Postgraduate studies take between 1 to 5 years. Education plays an important role for Malaysia in building a resilient nation, encouraging the creation of a just society, and maintaining sustainable economic growth. It is also through education that a country can develop global competitiveness, build a key economy, and maintain sustainable environmental development. Under the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025, the education system will focus on making changes to structural elements that are in line with international best practices of high-performing education systems. In preparing students for the demands of the future, structural adjustments across each phase of education will be made and resources maximized to provide the very best to Malaysians of all levels. To realize the aim of becoming a center of educational excellence, the government has allocated more than 20% of the national budget for education and training. Among the nation's goals are to ensure that 40% of the 17 to 24 years age group will have tertiary education, provide primary school, and have 150,000 international students studying at higher education institutions. Currently, Malaysia is already a popular destination for international students with a world ranking of 11th place in terms of the enrollment of international students. Thank you.